Welcome to r/slash Trueoffmychest, where OP's mother is having an affair with his grandfather. Our next Reddit post is from Throwaway. The title is, I'm pretty sure that my mom is having a sexual relationship with my grandfather, her father, and I don't know what the right thing to do is. I just want to start off by saying that I'm super disturbed, and I might regret writing this, but I feel like I need to get it out of my system. It's been bubbling inside of me, and I don't know what the hell to do about it. So, my grandmother died about 8 months ago, and ever since, my mom has been going to visit her father much more often. Sometimes the entire family goes together, but since it's hard to align our schedules, most of the time my mom goes alone and sleeps over for a few days, usually the weekend. In my head, my grandfather is one of the nicest men ever. That's why this hit me really hard and threw me into a panic attack, because it's like seeing someone really decent do something you'd never expect. My mom did cheat on my dad a few years ago, and they fought a lot, and they worked it out, and now they're doing just fine. So, although I know that my mom has done some stuff in the past, this was super disturbing for me. And I'm honestly feeling sick even as I'm writing this, but I'm hoping that it'll help me feel better to put it out there anonymously. My grandpa lives in a suburb 2 hours away from the city where we live. This September, I'd finished with work and school for the month and I had lots of free time, so I decided to give my grandpa a surprise visit. I usually wouldn't go unannounced, but I knew that he was alone and he's always eager to see me. I don't live with my mom, so I didn't know whether she'd be there, but I was assuming she might since she had been at his place pretty much every second weekend ever since the funeral. So I called an Uber, which cost a lot. I was pretty tired, but I still wanted to make my grandpa feel happy since he had been inviting me to stay there for a long time and I could finally spend some time with him. And of course, my mom was there when I arrived. She seemed surprised and happy, as was my grandpa. So we just talked and watched some TV together, just average family time. My grandpa lives in a great area, so we took some walks in nature nearby and everything was pretty good. I stayed for 2 nights. The only odd thing that happened was in the middle of the first night, I heard like some weird grunting, but it didn't sound sexual at all. I just assumed that it was some animal outside or something. I didn't make anything of it. I'd completely forgotten about it. On the second night, I heard the same thing and immediately remembered that I heard it the day before as well. So I got out of my bed to see what was up. I opened the window and there was nothing out there, and even worse, I realized it was coming from inside the house, like the hallway. Then I realized that it was coming from my grandfather's room. And when I started listening more closely, I realized that actually it was very sexual. It sounded just like an old man moaning like a creepy pervert. I was pretty grossed out. I didn't really want to tell my mom about it, but I did find it kind of funny. You know, like it was hot tea, if you know what I mean. I was like, maybe I'll just wake her up and ask her if she also heard anything, and maybe she'll discover it on her own when she wakes up and hears it instead of me having to tell her about it. But my mom was not in her room. I went to the bathroom and she wasn't there either. This house is not huge, so there's no other place she could have been except her father's room. And why the hell would he be moaning in there with her if they weren't doing something together? There's just no other explanation. My body literally went stiff, and tears started coming up immediately. I went back to the guest room and went to bed weeping. I don't for the love of me understand if they weren't worried or what they think I would do if I potentially heard them. In the morning, it was very hard to act normally. My mom and I left on Sunday at around 5 p.m., and everything was normal afterwards, but I can't shake this feeling that I should tell my dad. What if I'm wrong, though? I've been having such a horrible time ever since, and I do my best to not have to meet up with my mom. I've only seen her once since then, and I just tell her that I'm really busy with my internship and stuff. I'm so disturbed, and I hate that my family is like this. I can't tell my friends because they'll surely be super grossed out by my family, and I don't want that to happen. I can't tell my brother because he's only 15 and he doesn't deserve that to be done to him. The only person I can realistically tell this to is my dad, but then what the hell is he gonna do? It honestly made me even start digging into my past to figure out if I had some repressed memories like maybe I knew all along. But absolutely not. I can't say that I have any of these memories. I tried being honest with myself, but no. This is so disgusting and shocking to me, and my body is probably just running on pure stress the last couple of months. I do plan on going to therapy though. So, as you might expect, down in the comments, people are talking to OP to try to puzzle out exactly what was going on here, and OP clarifies that, yeah, it really did sound like adult noises. OP says they heard moaning and rhythmic pounding. Also, OP says, and as for my mom being somewhere else, in her room, her phone was sitting on the bed, and all of her clothes, as well as her shoes, were just thrown around in her room. She definitely hadn't snuck out. Why would she go out for a walk barefoot in the cold without a jacket and leave her phone randomly on her bed? This is why I can't bring myself to think that she was somewhere else. It was also something like 2 a.m. Then OP posted an update. For those of you asking about updates, I'm gonna meet my mom in 2 days from now and I'll try to bring it up. Then OP posted another update. So I met up with my mom at the mall to watch a movie, and then we sat in the food court for about an hour and a half. She didn't seem to suspect anything at all and was happy to get to hang out with me after not seeing me for almost a month, I think. So I brought up the topic exactly as I'd planned. I just said that I heard some weird noises in the night and I got up to see what was up. I said that I went to her room because I was a little scared. I had to make that part up because I didn't know what other reason to give to not come off as a weirdo. And my mom was very weird about it. Man, literally, her face went completely neutral immediately after hearing me. I was really hoping I was imagining it, but her face gave it away. That was a really weird reaction she had. I tried to keep my demeanor the same, but my heart definitely sank when I saw her because I was like, damn. I think that I'm desensitized about the whole thing now, and actually, I don't feel stress rushing through me. But I'm now 99.9% sure that she got creeped out by my question. So basically, her face froze for a second, and if I wasn't paying attention, I probably wouldn't have noticed. And then she was just like, I don't remember that. I was pretty tired. I could have been in the bathroom. Now, I know that's not true because I checked the bathroom. I was awake for about 20 minutes after that happened, and I heard nothing in the hallway. No door opening, nothing. And then my mom immediately was like, hey, are you finished with your meal? Let's get a sundae. It's so cringe because either she's doing the unthinkable or she's actually cheating and using my grandpa as an excuse. I still think that the moaning was so weird, and that's what my intuition is telling me. I definitely am thinking of telling my dad now and he can find out what's happening. It's scaring me though. I don't want to end my family, but this doesn't sit well with me. I can't live with knowing and not doing anything. Also, OP clarifies in the comments that his mom is 47 and his grandpa is 73. So as I scroll down into the comments, I'm seeing a lot of people basically searching for any possible justification imaginable. A lot of people are saying that maybe the grandpa is in pain because some older people like grunt and moan when they're sleeping because they have sleep apnea or they're in pain or something. Other people are suggesting that maybe OP's mom is mourning the loss of her mother, so she goes to her dad's room and cries, and crying can kinda sound like intercourse, especially if it's muffled through a door, so maybe it's that. Personally, I'm honestly not sure what to think because there's just not enough evidence. I think the idea of either the grandpa or the mother crying and the other person comforting behind closed doors is like the safest and most logical explanation. But, you know, we gotta give OP some credit here. Sex noises sound like sex noises, so if that's what OP says they heard, then I'm kind of inclined to believe him. So, while I hope that it's something innocent, I think OP might be right here. Our next Reddit post is from I'm the Real Lorax. I had my son with my girlfriend at the time just after high school. We got married at the ages of 18 and 20 because we had Christian parents. From the moment that my son was born, I loved him. My ex didn't. She blamed our son for ruining her life, leading her to mentally and verbally abuse my boy until we divorced. It was a clean break because she left to be with her new rich boyfriend, saying that since her future was ruined, her new rich boyfriend can help her live the life that she wanted. My son is such an angel. He always thought that it was his fault and tried to do his best to be the best son for me, which led to him being very easily influenced by the criticism of others. It was hard for him since he saw his classmates' moms treating their kids right. When you're a kid, everyone's hero is their mother. Even after all the abuse she put him through, he still wanted to visit her. She did normal bad parent stuff, like making plans that she never attended to. I'd understand if it was once or twice, but every time? She didn't even show up once, not even one effing weekend or even a few hours. He basically had no maternal figure in his life. This made him have trust issues and he became really quiet. But thank goodness for therapy, he got much better. The gym became his stress reliever. Now he's a strong, intelligent senior in high school. He's the perfect child. Then, about 6 months ago, he got text messages from his mother asking to meet him. For a week straight, he was so happy, unreasonably happy to meet someone who had hurt him so bad at such a young age. But it's not my place to tell him who he can't meet. On that day, he was supposed to meet her at a coffee shop to catch up. My son got a call from his mom asking where he is. He said, sorry, something came up at work. Can't meet today, before hanging up. For the following 6 months, whenever they made plans, my son was a no-show. I wasn't aware of any of this. So when my ex called me to tell me about my son's behavior, saying that he's acting out of line and should be disciplined. What? I'm sorry, but when she was explaining this, I just straight up started cracking up. I told her that he's doing what she did to him years ago, and I won't be disciplining him for something she indirectly taught him. I feel bad for her, but is my son really that wrong to no-show his mom? Oh man, when OP said, my son was so happy, he was unreasonably happy, I was imagining in my head, a sweet, innocent child who's so excited to see his mother, but no. That is the joy that comes from pure malice. That is the joy that someone gets from knowing that after 15 years of abuse, I'm finally getting my revenge. Opie, your son is awesome. I agree you shouldn't discipline him. If anything, your ex did this entirely to herself. What does she expect? After 15 years of abandonment, he's gonna rush into her arms and sob and, oh, mama, I missed you. Yeah, right. Oh, we have more details in the comments. OP posts an edit. My son did want a relationship, but he decided against it when she accidentally let it slip that she wanted money. It was over a phone call, so I personally can't confirm that that's what she wants, but knowing her, this sounds exactly like something she would do. Our next Reddit post is from Long Dress. I know that my husband is cheating on me, and I need to tell someone. I'm a 40-year-old woman, and I found this fact out about 6 months ago. I went into total shock. I thought that my husband, who's 39, loved me because he tells me that every day. We have a beautiful family together. 3 beautiful kids, a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 16-month-old. We have a beautiful home and a vacation home. We're close to both of our families, and everything else is perfect. The other woman, who's 35, is a coworker of my husband that I know very well. She's been inside of my home. I comforted her when her husband cheated on her and left her for this new woman. I saw her pain. Little did I know that she would inflict that same pain on me a few months later. I saw her nudes on his phone. I saw their talks about their hookups on messengers. She isn't even pretty. She's disgusting, pathetic, and miserable. I know that I'm being a misandrist here, but I can't help myself. What does she have that I don't? He disgusts me so much. He's pathetic and stupid. My respect for him is gone. I've chosen to pretend that I don't know. I love my life, and I'll be damned if I share my children and not be able to see them every day of their lives. Neither him nor her are worth me separating from my babies, my home, my family, my comfortable life, and my safety. Sometimes I think he knows that I know. Like when he looks at me and asks me to come back to him. When he asks me what I'm thinking. It feels like your body is here, but your mind is 1,000 miles away. I don't answer him. He starts to argue, and sometimes it feels like he's doing it to provoke a reaction out of me. But I never answer or engage until he gets tired and leaves me alone. I never initiate anything with him. And when he has me, I just let him do his thing, and I refuse to let him pleasure me. In the beginning, he complained that I was distant, I was cold, and that I wanted him to use protection. I told him that I stopped using birth control, so he has to wear a condom now. His complaining stopped when I told him that it's either that or nothing. 6 months later, I'm mostly at peace with my life. There's still a lot of ups and downs, but the downs are getting fewer and further apart. The part of my heart and my thoughts that were occupied with my husband are suddenly empty, and I found that I'm pretty good at filling the void with other things, new hobbies, and even more quality time with my babies and my loved ones, so all is well. Man, I genuinely don't know how people live like this. Like, yeah, I get it that she has a good life and she doesn't want to burn that life down, but man, if I found out that my spouse was cheating, I'd burn it all down. That sounded kind of violent. I don't mean I'd be violent. I just mean divorce, never talk to me again, just go our separate ways. I couldn't live a lie like that. But it works for OP, so I guess if it works for you, it works for you. That was r/TrueOffMychest. And if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.